Her boss stood in front of everyone, placed his hand on my wife, and told me to sit this one out. I didn't react.
I knew something was wrong the moment he said it. We were standing in the middle of a hotel ballroom, surrounded by investors and executives, people who smile a little too easily. My wife was beside me in a red dress I'd never seen before. Too elegant for a work dinner. Too deliberate. Her boss raised his glass, cleared his throat, and said confidently, "Tonight I'll be attending the gala with my date." He turned slightly, placed his hand on my wife's lower back, and smiled at the room. "She be joining me." The laughter came fast. Not loud, but approving. The kind that tells you no one plans to stop what's happening. Then he looked directly at me. "Don't worry," he added. "You can sit this one out." The room went quiet. I waited for my wife to pull away, to say something, anything. She didn't. She just smiled. Maybe nervous, maybe relieved. I couldn't tell anymore. I felt something cold move through me. Not anger, but recognition. That moment was the end. I just didn't announce it out loud. I simply nodded and stepped back. "Of course," I said calmly. "Enjoy the evening." Her boss chuckled, satisfied. My wife avoided my eyes. That night she came home late. Perfume lingered in the air, her hair slightly undone. "You're quiet," she said, placing her purse on the counter. "I'm tired," I replied. She watched me closely. "You weren't upset earlier, were you?" "No," I said honestly. I was paying attention. From that night on, I stopped reacting. I stopped asking questions, stopped checking her phone, stopped waiting up for her. I stopped trying to prove that I mattered. Instead, I started preparing. I met with an attorney I trusted. I reviewed documents I hadn't looked at in years, contracts, emails, financial records. Her boss had always underestimated me. Everyone did. Quiet men just blend into the background. But that's where we see everything. The company he was running? I helped build it. My early investments were buried under layers of paperwork, silent clauses, deferred authority. I never needed control before because I trusted people. That was my mistake. At home, my wife grew irritated. "You're acting distant," she snapped one evening. "I'm respecting your independence," I replied. She didn't like that answer. She started provoking me, coming home later, dressing sharper, mentioning her boss casually, almost proudly. "He's taking me to New York next week," she said one night. "Work trip." I just nodded. "Sounds busy." She stared at me, waiting. "That's it? What do you want me to say?" She scoffed and walked away. When the investigation began, neither of them knew. It was quiet, professional, and ruthless. Expense accounts were flagged. Private hotel stays were charged as meetings. The misuse of company funds was blatant. The evidence piled up easily when someone believes they're untouchable. The board meeting was scheduled 2 weeks later. My wife attended with him, confident and smiling. I arrived separately. When my name was announced, the entire room shifted. Her boss laughed. "What is this?" I placed a stack of documents on the table. Correction. The lawyers spoke, the numbers spoke, the messages spoke. My wife's face drained of color as her name appeared again and again. Transfers, authorizations, signatures. She whispered my name, but I didn't look at her. Her boss tried to argue, to threaten, to deny. It didn't matter. By the end of the meeting, he was removed. His accounts were frozen, and the authorities were notified. The room emptied quickly after that. She followed me out into the hallway, her heels clicking unevenly on the marble floor. "You planned this," she said, her voice shaking. "I prepared," I replied. "There's a difference. You let him humiliate you." She cried out. "No," I said calmly, finally looking at her. "I let him expose you?" She broke down, cried, apologized, said she was confused, said it didn't mean anything. "It meant enough," I replied, "that you stood there and said nothing." The divorce was quiet. Clean, efficient. She moved back in with her sister. Her boss didn't call her anymore. Power has its limits. Months later, I attended another gala. This time as the primary stakeholder. No dates were announced, no performances were given, just respect. Someone asked me once why I hadn't reacted that night at the hotel. I smiled. "Because the loudest men reveal themselves quickly," I said. "The quiet ones decide when it's over." And when it was over, there was nothing left for them to say. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to follow for more.